So here we are. It's Sunday again. It rolls around so quickly, doesn't it? And we have our theme of the month, which is the spiritual laws of prosperity. And so all month long, Reverend Lyle and I have been crafting talks to enhance this idea of abundance and prosperity and what it really means in our lives. We have lots of ideas of what abundance and prosperity mean, and most of them are to do with money and to do with material things, but that's really not what we're talking about. But what we find is as we open up to this concept of abundance and prosperity, the universe seems to provide us with all that we need, and so it kind of ties in all together. So I wanted to do a little recap on the past talks that I gave. This theme of the spiritual laws of prosperity is really about our awakening journey and us waking up to who we really are. And so don't be misled by the title of the spiritual principles. Every talk that we give, every series is really about you waking up to who you really are. So, prosperity. True prosperity is the experience of having enough or plenty of what you truly need and want in your heart and soul. I've been studying the book, The Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwene Gaines, and she defines prosperity as a vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the spiritual being that you are. Relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and that work all the time. And work that you love so much that it feels like play. And all the money you need and all the resources you need so that you can have that experience. So really that's what we're talking about. Having a really rich, deep experience of life. And so for my first talk, I talked about the law of circulation. And so these 4 laws are really designed for you to kind of drop the who you think you are and move into who you really are as a spiritual being. And so this first law, the law of circulation, or aka tithing, which is such an unpopular word, is really it's an invitation to engage in life and to see life as one big, amazing happening. And so as we start to give of ourselves, whether it be giving here to the Satya Center or giving to where you're spiritually fed, maybe there's a person that spiritually fed you, a teacher, maybe there's an institution or an establishment that serves, and so maybe you give there. So we give of our resources, but we also give of our time. We serve each other, we support one another, we help one another. So that's another way of giving. And so we give of our time, and we give of our talent, and we give of our treasures. And what this does on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, it says, you're essentially saying that I'm one with the universe and I'm going to give back because it takes all of us to give in order to make this whole thing go around, this whole world. What's that saying, money makes the world go around? Well, our energy, the energy of giving, the energy of plenty, the energy of support makes the world go around. So we tune into that vibration of the more you give, the more you receive and circulate. And it's this practicing this law of circulation and really tuning in to what's really happening on the planet, which is one life, one humanity, one energy that we need to keep sustaining through our contribution. So that's why this first law, the law of tithing, is important. The second law is the law of setting clear-cut goals, or the law of knowing what you really want. And that was my second talk. It's very important as we're on our spiritual path that we tune into who we really are and what we really want. And as I discussed in week 2, a lot of us aren't really encouraged as youngsters to identify what we really want and desire, and to give ourselves permission to go for that. So in this teaching, in the law of knowing what you really want, it's about some self-reflection. It's about going within and discovering what turns you on, what lights you up, and what you can bring to the world. And maybe it seems like I've seen this over the course of my lifetime. When people are really awake to who they are and what their divine gifts are, they end up doing for their job or their vocation what they love so much that it doesn't feel like work, that it feels like play. And I can attest to that. You know, when I decided to really stand up as a woman of power and start to move into the direction of my soul's longings, that's when the universe materialized around me as the Satya Center, as this organization. And I didn't have to try. Well, I did a little bit, but I didn't. It seemed as though the universe seemed to reorganize itself in favor of my heart's desire. Does that make sense? And so I've seen that with many people that tune into what they want, and maybe they move away from the career that they had for so many years, the job that they thought they needed to have, or that society prompted them to have, or their family encouraged them into, to just let that go and move into a body of work that maybe there wasn't as great an income. Maybe there wasn't a great, that they weren't recognized with some high title, but they moved into doing something that fed their soul. And I just read one of my teachers, Nithya Shanti, put a post on Facebook talking about this. He took a cab ride with probably a Uber driver, and it was a woman. And as she took him to his destination, she shared that she had had a corporate job, she had had all of that, and she let it all go, and now she drove this cab, and it was way less stressful, and she met all kinds of wonderful people, and so, you know, it's not always about more, bigger, better, that kind of thing. Doing what we want can appear to those in the material world, or looking through the materialized mindset, as not as good, but it's definitely a step in the direction of what brings us peace and meaning and connection in the world. So those were the first 2 talks, the law of tithing, and then the law of clear-cut goals, or knowing what you want. When you know what you want, it's easier to establish goals. And there's a wonderful prosperity teacher from the Unity Movement, Catherine Ponder, and she says, the more specific you are when you write your goals, the quicker you will have your demonstration. So I've been teaching this Abundance Club for the last 21 days. No, 20 days, 19 days, something like that. And what we're working on is really establishing a vision. What do we want our life to look like? And then taking the next step in actually manifesting that is establishing a goal or 3 each week. And then establishing some action steps to go along with that. But so many of us are sort of a bit lazy in that. We dream of the life we want, and then we sit back and do our prayers or meditation, and then we wonder why it's not showing up. But we have to set some goals and start moving our feet in that direction. I think it was the master teacher, Jesus, that said, ask and it is given. But we have to ask. Right? We have to ask for what we want. So as we establish clear-cut goals, that's our asking. We're not asking some deity up in the cloud. We're asking the universe. We're using our most amazing power, which is our thoughts and our words, and we're saying, this is what I want. This is what I accept as my life now. And again, the universe seems to reorganize itself to mirror back to us that which we're in a vibrational match with. So it's very, very important that you get really clear about what you want and be able to talk about it with those that can support that vision. Don't talk about it with those that don't, because that's when you get yourself into trouble, and then you move into that place of doubt and confusion about that, because other people may not see your vision as you do. So I thought I came up with this little statement that my friend Sue went to Vegas last weekend, and so as I was putting my talk together, I came up with this: what is the thing? I can't find it now. What starts in vagueness stays in vagueness. Okay, so we get really clear, so we're not vague about what we want. You know, I want a vacation sometime next year. Where do you really want to go? What do you really want? You want to go to Bali? You go to Hawaii? You want to go to the North Pole? I don't know where it is you want to go, but get clear on what you want and then let go. And then the universe will surprise you. It could be Bali, it could be North Pole, it could be Hawaii, it could be something better. Like Kimmy says at the end of the prayer, this or something better. So now we move into the next spiritual law, which is the mysterious power of forgiveness. So again, these are strategies for us to wake up to who we really are. So number one, we start to circulate our energy, our time, our talents, and our treasures. We start to get super clear on who we are and what we want. And then the next step is there may be some things in the way. You may not be manifesting the life that you want or an experience of abundance because you've got something or several things that are keeping you back from really claiming you're good. Maybe you have some self-worth issues. Maybe you've got some things that happened to you in the past that you're holding on to. And you may not even know that you are. It could be buried deep in your subconscious. Maybe there's something happened in your childhood that's kept you feeling shame or guilt. Or maybe there's something in your childhood that kept you feeling not good enough or unlovable. And these things, it seems like people suppress. They bury deep, and they may become so small that we don't even recognize them with our conscious mind, but they're very loud in our subconscious mind. And what does that mean? When we have these beliefs running, these feelings of guilt or shame, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, they seem to sabotage, they seem to disrupt our energy about what it is we really want. So we may really know what we want, but if there's some of that stuff that hasn't been revealed and released, then it's a blocker. It's a blocker. And so I want to explore this a little bit with you today. Edwene Gaines says, an unwillingness to forgive is like stabbing ourselves with a knife and expecting the person who did us wrong to feel the pain. Forgiveness is not something we do for the sake of another person. Forgiveness is something we do for ourselves. Nelson Mandela says, as I walked out of the door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and my hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. And how long was he in prison for? 20 years. 20 years imprisoned. And then what did he become? The leader of the country. One of the leaders in our world with his message. But he's saying that if he hadn't left behind that energy of bitterness, of anger, frustration with what happened I'd say what happened to him, but what I know is on a spiritual level, everything's happening for us. Everything's happening for us. So what is it that you could, maybe something's coming to your mind today. Maybe there's something that you're getting a sense of. There could be something that's still lingering that you're ready to let go of. Is there a story that keeps kind of rearing its head in your life? Is there something, a story that you say to yourself or tell yourself that sort of holds you back from really being who you could be? And it could come in the form of, well, if only that hadn't happened. Or if only they didn't do this, or they didn't do that. Or if only I had been as fortunate as other people. You know, I wasn't born with the lucky stick. Or my family didn't have enough money. Or, you know, we have a lot of things that happen in our past that kind of keep us stuck in playing small. And so I encourage you to start thinking, as I'm talking, about something you're ready to let go of. And we can do a little liberation process at the end. Oh, what time it is? Somebody does. I know that. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. We're in prison in 1,000 different ways, but most often this prison is in our mind. Have you noticed that? Because whatever that thing is that you might or might not be holding on to, let's just assume that each of us have something that we're holding on to. That thing happened in the past, correct? But you bring it into the future, into the now moment by thinking about it now. So it's really something that you're creating with the power of your mind. So you're bringing whatever it is into this fresh new moment. And the now moment is the only point of creation. Do you hear that? This moment is where creation is done. By you, by me, by all of us. So what is the point of going back to the past to bringing whatever that thing that happened, bringing it into this most powerful moment of the now? It is self-sabotaging. It is keeping you from moving in the direction of what you want. And as long as you have that sort of invisible shield, that filter, that reason, that unforgive thing in your vibration, in your field, it's going to keep you're not going to be speaking clearly with the universe. So unforgiving, letting go, allowing things to be as they are, creates this energy that allows you to be who you really are and establish yourself on a very clean, clear, awake path, speaking a language that the universe really understands. It's almost when you've got something that you're holding on to, some guilt, shame, whatever that might be, you're muddying the way you speak to the universe. You're muddying that language, and that's why things don't happen for us as quickly as we would like, or as meaningfully as we would like. Just because we're not sending out a clear message. It's like, I want this, but I'm not good enough. I want this life, but that thing happened between me and my mother. And so there's these things that muddy up the language, the energy that is happening for us. So when we have judgments, when we have unforgiveness, it seems to build up a wall around our hearts. It builds up a wall around our heart. And as Marilyn was doing that wonderful meditation this morning, I don't know if all of you got an opportunity to experience that. It was an experience of just being the sound. And, well, that's what it was for me. I don't know if that was the intention, but that's what I was doing. And there was this beautiful music of being on a beach or being by the water and the lapping of the waves. And then there was some beautiful chanting. And then there was some laughter. and then there was some more music. And in that process, I felt this melting of ice, of heaviness around my heart. And my heart became on fire. It became lighter. And I was thinking about my talk a little bit too. I know I wasn't supposed to be thinking during that process, but I was a little bit. And I was thinking, that's what, when we're holding on to hurt, or envy, or remorse, or regret, it's almost as though there's something that happens to our hearts. And so I think when we let go, and we come into the now moment, and we bless whatever it is that happened to us, and we simply see it as something that occurred. I don't know why that happened, but I'm not going to torture myself with bringing it into this holy moment, the now moment. And I'm just going to let it be. Doesn't mean it was right. Doesn't mean I condone it. I'm just going to let it go, and the energy and the impact it has on me, and me making my steps forward in the world, me being a beneficial presence in the world, and I'm going to let that go so I can allow the walls of my heart to dissipate, those ice walls to let go. And then we're just in this space of being open-hearted. And that's what we truly are. And that's what this whole awakening journey is. It's waking up to the love that we are as individuals. A lot of people say that God is love, or that that's their best way of describing what spirit or God is. And so I think that we all feel that presence of love within us. And when we tune into it, when we become alive and aware of love in our hearts, and we begin to express ourselves with unconditional love. Conditional love is when you only give love a little bit, but you don't give it to certain people or certain situations or what have you because of that past stuff. So we forgive, let go, and then we're allowed to be the presence of love without any reason, without any excuses. We live being love unconditionally. This is our true nature. So if we could wake up and be that all the time, it doesn't matter what other people do. It's not a reason for you to shut them out of your heart. That's just our conditioning. That's just what we were told. Well, you don't love people that do that. You don't like people that do this. And if someone hurts you, don't love them anymore. And we close off. So we begin to melt that wall that's around our hearts. I'm sure Marilyn will share that music and it can just wash over you and just melt that ice away. And then we just stand in our authentic power, which is love. And when we're in that space and we've let go of the past, just let the past be the way it was, and we tune into who we are, is the presence of love. Then we find moment by moment, minute by minute, the universe just reveals opportunities to be more loving. Try it. Stop holding back. Be vulnerable enough to just simply be the presence of love. All day, every day, without excuses. Try it. Try love for no reason. Try going into a room, into the store, into whatever, and just beaming love. You can feel it in your heart. Allow that love to bubble up and sparkle through your eyes. And just be sparkling all the time. And just see if the world doesn't pour upon you blessing upon blessing upon blessing. It's what happens. Haven't you seen the most miserable people and the lives they attract to themselves? It's because they've got a wall around their heart. They've got so many reasons not to love you. And then life gives them back that experience. There's not enough, this world sucks, everything's going to somewhere. That's just a story. Do you get it? That every moment of every day you're telling yourself a story about what's happening? Drop the story. It's not happening because someone doesn't like you. It's not happening because this or that. Things are happening because that's what this life is. It's a bunch of happenings. Stop having a story about it. Stop making things up. You don't know. You only know you. And most of us don't even know who we are ourselves. So focus your energy on beginning to know you as a loving being. If you haven't met yourself yet as a loving being, then do that this week. And when you meet yourself as a loving being and you share yourself that way and you've forgiven everything that happened and you just arrive at the most powerful place in the universe, the most powerful place in the universe for you is being you, authentically you, right where you are. You don't have to be or do anything else. Just be you to the fullest. Beautiful. Be you to the full. And shine your eyes and just see what the universe shares with you. It's going to be beautiful. So I want to share this I did find this really sweet quote by Lao Tzu. It says, music in the soul can be heard by the universe. That's what we were doing when you were singing. Music in the soul can be heard by the universe. What does that mean? The song that you're singing, the music of your unique tune that you're broadcasting is heard by the universe. And it responds. The universe responds to your song. Your song is whatever you believe about yourself and about life. Your song is whatever you believe about yourself and about life. So are you singing the song you were born to sing? You can tell because your life is enjoyable. If you're not enjoying your life, then there's a good chance you're not singing the right song. I need to go compose a new song when I get home. Okay, so I'd love to, could you play just a little bit of like tinkling music for me? That would be good. Do you like tinkling music? Yes. Just tinkling music. Thank you so much. So I'd like everyone to close their eyes. Are you laughing? I don't mean go pee. Nobody can do that. Don't do that. If you have to go in the other room. We'll have another name for this kind of music. Meditative music. Okay, so we make this sacred vow. And I'm going to speak these words for you in the first person. And if you align with them, then they're yours. If you don't like it, then just block your ears. But you'll love it. So closing your eyes and tuning into your heart, knowing that right here and right now, you are the presence of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete, timeless, eternal. You were never born and you'll never die. You are this one beautiful song that you're singing, tuning it in, honing it, ever so slightly to truly reflect what is in your heart. And so today we make this sacred vow of liberation. I make this vow and fully accept that total forgiveness is now activated within me and for me. I accept that I am freed from every judgment and limitation I hold against myself. For every lie I've ever told, I ask that forgiveness free me from the ripples of their effect. Even now, I am being lifted into my full integrity. Being lifted now to my authentic self. As of now, I am always confident to speak my truth with love and clarity. I accept that forgiveness flows through me, specifically from my body temple. I open to allow that all abuses, words, and actions that my body has endured be healed now. That any stored energy, hurt, sadness, anger, fear that is hiding out in my cellular memory, it's moving into the light of God's love now. For everything I've ever done, said, or thought that is less than kind and loving, I accept forgiveness now. As I lift up my mind and my heart and I open my awareness to the light of truth, may this energy of forgiveness heal. May it liberate us so only care and connection remain. I send the healing energy of forgiveness out from my heart to all the directions, to above and below and into eternity. And to my sacred self, I say, I'm sorry for forgetting who I truly am. Please forgive me for believing painful, disempowering thoughts about myself and others. I love you. I am a precious child of the divine, perfect in every way. Thank you. I say thank you to myself. I am my nearest and my dearest friend and ally. Infinite Spirit sets into motion the power of forgiveness, setting me completely free from the past. I am liberated. I am physically free. I am emotionally free. I am mentally free. I am free to be me. I activate the sacred I am. I am peace. I am joy. I am strength. I am unconditional love and compassion. I am impeccable with my word. I am wise. And I'm awake. And I'm free to be me. Now and always and in all ways. And I send this blessing out through the ethers, across the world and around and out into the cosmos, that all beings, without exception, be free. Free to love. Free to love themselves and free to love others. Free to lift up and inspire. Free to heal. Free to let go. Free to love. And this is my prayer and my vow for freedom, for liberation, and for unconditional love. And for this we are blessed. And so it is. Take a breath. Are you free? Should you let it go? Would you do it again? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for accompanying us in that beautiful vow of liberation. I'm going to let that be our prayer for today, and I'm going to ask that the ushers come forward. And it's our time of putting our abundance and prosperity principles into action now. And so what we really do when we give, we are a non-profit organization, which you know. And so as you give to support this center, I say thank you for that. It really does, it makes such a huge difference to know that we are self-supporting. Our community supports itself, and thank you. But really what we're doing when we give, when we practice the law of circulation, is we're really saying I have faith in this one happening. I have faith in this one world. I have faith in life. I have faith in the divine. And as I give, I know that I'm always given. So I just simply participate in this law of circulation. And so thank you for doing that for yourself today. And so as we read these words, know that that's what you're doing. You're making a commitment to yourself and to life, and to knowing that you're abundantly fed and sourced and supplied by Spirit. So let us read this together. Joyfully I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am